Hey guys, welcome to my first little tip video. Today I'm just going to do some different sorts of bales you can do with your polymer clay, rather than using, you know, pinch bales or metal bales. Just something a little bit different. So I've made some blanks out of scrap, and I just thought I'd show you a few different types of bales that I like to use. And there's probably quite a lot of videos out there with people doing different sorts of bales, but I haven't come across any where somebody's done a video with all different techniques for bales in, so I thought I'd give it a go. Right, so I've got some scrap clay up here. That's on my thickest setting. I've done a little bit of a skinner blend, which I'm going to make thinner just with some scraps. So we'll get started. So I thought I'd start with the simplest bales that you've seen me do. I'm just going to use a little cutter, cut myself a little rectangle out. Let's just smooth that off, trim that funny edge off, as you know I don't like them. Then all I'm going to do with this piece, oh, it's really sticky because it's so warm in here. All the cats are in, lying next to the radiator. It's just nice to just skim a little bit off your ends, just to thin it out a bit, so that when it attaches to your pendant, it looks a bit smoother. Now you can use anything. I've got a bit of an old paper stump. I've cut some skewers, and I've got my little rolling pin thing. It's just something that won't really stick. You might find it an idea to put a bit of corn flour on them just to help, or sometimes just wetting them with a baby wipe helps you to slide them out, especially if your clay's a bit sticky like mine is today. So yeah, really simple one. Just make sure your edge of mine's a bit chatty, but yeah, dead simple. Just roll it round something, flatten your ends off, take your pendant, and then you just need to take it off this because it's a bit big. Part bake your pendant and pop your bale on the back. Use a little bit of Bacon Bond or liquid clay just to help it. You see, if you thin those ends out, it helps it to blend in a bit. So that's one. Really simple, really effective. I like to just get a ball tool and just gently press it just to make sure it's bonded. And you could put a little pattern in, couldn't you? You could do what you want. Some people stamp their initials in or a little logo in. But yeah, that's number one. Really simple bale. Just move these bits. Right, number two is, again, I'm just going to use this cutter and cut myself a piece of clay out. Make it smooth with my fingers. And I did this in one of my previous videos. I think it was the last one I uploaded. And I've just got a little roller here that's patterned. It's like the ones you see for cake makers and fondant rollers and things. So I'm just going to roll a little pattern into it. Of course, this could be, you know, something pretty you've done, or a bit of cane, or, you know, you could leave it plain. I think I did mica shift with mine. And we'll just pick it up. And we're just going to pop it onto the front of our pendant. And I'm just going to pop my cane in and fold it over. Wiggle that back out. Again, you'd use some bacon bond. I'm not sticking anything to these because they're just scrap. And then you can, you know, just add some finishing touches. Make sure your edges are nice and clean and square. And then you've got a nice bail that's part of the design. Right, the next one I'm going to do is I'll use this cutter again. I'm just using this cutter because it's making it just a bit more simple for me with the clay being over there. I'm just going to cut that funny edge off because I don't like it. And this one would work kind of front and back, so you could I'll do it, put a pattern in, or again use a piece of cane that you've got, or, you know, maybe a bit of colour shift, mica shift, or a bit of, well, anything. It doesn't matter, does it? Now, just show you on this one, what we're going to do is we're just going to roll it over on itself like so. Give it a little press so that it sticks. Again, use a bit of bacon bond if you're worried, but once that's stuck and cooked, it won't go anywhere. Now, you could put this on the front and make a feature of it like so, or you could put it on the back, and so you would just have the bail showing. Now, obviously, I've got this on 0, it's quite thick. You could make it a little bit thinner, but if it's on a larger pendant, you know, and plus with this circle, you can shape it a little bit to the circle. So again, bit of bacon bond on the back, pop that in. I recommend you part bake your pendants first, and then you know, you can put a bit of pressure on them. So that's another one. So like I say, you could either have that on the front and make it a feature, or on the back and just have a nice chunky bail on the top. Right, next one, I've made a list, then I don't forget what I'm doing. Right, what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to pop this through my pasta machine and make it a bit thinner. Bear with. There we go. Just a bit of Skinner blend with some scraps. And I'll just get my blade, give it a wipe. And what we're going to do is we're going to make some triangles. So I'll just do this one first, and then I'll do one the other way, like so. Pop this to one side. Right, the first one is we're going to roll it up. Remember you like paper beads you used to make? Just get this end nice and square. We're just going to roll this up like a paper bead. But obviously you need to leave a hole in the middle for your cord to go through. In fact, I'm going to just unroll that one a little bit because it's a bit too much. Let's get it straight. Could probably do with being a little bit thinner. Right, start again. Roll this up. Make sure you've got your hole in the middle. And then you've got this effect. Now you can do it wider. You can make it a lot thinner. But that you could pop on the front, you could pop it on the top, and it just makes an interesting bail. Because say if you do it a bit wider, you get more of the effect. And then this one, I'm just going to roll it, again making sure I've got a hole in the middle. In fact, before I do this, I'm just going to make it a little bit more pronounced because I think it needs to be a bit fatter. Let's try that. There we go. Right, so we're going to roll again, make sure we've got a hole in the middle, and then we can use this and make it a feature on our bead or pendant or whatever you want to call it, so you can make a bail that way. Again, like I say, you can have these like really wide or narrow, but I think they look quite effective. And then you could, you know, if you'd put a pattern in that, or if that was a mica shift with a pattern behind it, it'd look really nice. And it'll work on any sort of shape. And then I'm just going to use this and make a sausage. You could use your extruder, but I'll just roll myself a sausage with this strip. Just get my block. I'm not very good at rolling sausages. I tend to extrude them because I'm a bit rubbish. But we'll just use this. And I really like doing these. I think they look really effective. So you just need to get something round again. In fact, where's my little... Oh, I've lost it. I'll use this. It's probably going to stick to this, so I won't be able to get it off, but if we make a little spiral, like so. It's gone a bit thin in the middle. Told you I was rubbish at doing sausages. I think I'll snip that bit off. Right, I'm just going to snip that off. There. Where that thin bit is. So we've got a nice little spiral. And like I say, I probably won't be able to slide that off there because I've not put any flour on, but if you put a bit of flour on, or you use a little rod that's a little bit wet, like that one a bit wet, it would have slid off. And then you can take this and you can stick it, you can put a little bit of pressure on, and then a little bit of bacon bond, and you've got a spiral bail. I really like doing those because you could do them the whole length of your piece, and you can get it to mold to different shapes. Like you could do a whole one across the top of this, and they look, I think they look really nice. So that's the spiral one. And then I'll just get my diamond cutter, which is actually a square cutter that I squished. It's still got some grey on with the look of it. Right, with this one, we can either... Oops, I need my thing now. Oh, it came off. So yeah, little spiral. I call these like a clam style. So you can bend it over like that and then use it like so. So you've got your bail like that, and of course it matches in, it looks nice. But the other thing you can do, if I can get it off without sticking, which I also really like, is to actually make a bail with this. So you bake them separately, and then all you need to do is put a hole through your bail and a hole through your pendant. Put yourself a little jump ring in. You could even do them, you know, further apart, and maybe put a little bead in between or something, like an accent bead. But I think that looks nice and effective. But you can also do it with circles. So I'll just cut a circle out. And again, I'll just get my little... Oh, this clay is so sticky because it's so warm in here. Come on, out you come. So yeah, you can do the same thing with a circle or an oblong. So you could put that onto there and make a bail that way. Or, oh, come on, sticky. Maybe not on that one, but this one would work maybe on a different angle. Or again, you can just seal the edges, ensure you've still got your hole in the middle, bake that, and then pop a hole in here, pop a hole in here, and you've got a lovely clay bail with your pendant. And obviously with this you could roll it. In fact, I'll do it. Let's just unstick it. Oh, it is so sticky. Just smooth it down a bit. Looks really nice if you just put a bit of pattern into it. So then you've got your little clamshell style bead, and then your little pendants. I mean, you could do this at any size. If you did one as big as this, folded it over. You could use it as like a scarf slider, you know, you could pass both the ends of your scarf through and then have something like really pretty attached to it to jazz up your scarves and things. I've got a couple of those. In fact, I might make a couple and film them so you can see. So that's another one. What's next? Oh yeah, the other one was just incorporating smooth these out the way, incorporating the bail in with a pendant, the designing. So where we did the rolled bead with a piece coming down, you could actually make this you know, whatever pattern you wanted, and incorporate it into your design. So for example, I could just go in with this cutter like so. Let's turn it round. I'm just gonna put a pattern on that end as well. And this could be any pattern, I'm just grabbing things that are nearby to use. And I'll just cut the top off. And then you do your little pea roll, like so. Make sure that's stuck. And then you could incorporate that pattern into whatever it is you're doing. So you could have a fancy patterned one, or we could where's my curvy one? Look at, I've put it, oh there it is. Keep putting things down and forgetting where they are. Let's put a curve on this other piece. Chop the end off. Make our P. That's stuck. And then we could do something like that. You could shape it as well, couldn't you? You know, have it curving around and incorporate it into part of your design by doing it that way. So there's a few little things for you to be thinking about with bails and things. I'll just run through them all again. We've got the really simple one, which is just making a little loop, and you could do that as thin or as thick as you want. You could use a circle, any shape you fancied, and if you just make that little slither in the end, it makes it smooth into your clay without looking too chunky. And there was this one where you just fold it up, put a pattern on, or use patterned coloured clay and make a pendant bail that way. And then there were these two, so you could either have your, similar to this one, you could have just a, you know, a simple shape as part of your design and your pea style for a pendant, or you could make these little rolled up beads and incorporate that into the design. What else was there? Oh yeah, the clamshell style ones, where you could either have it over or fastening, and the one that was a diamond shape, again you could have it over or fastening. Then there was our little cutie spiral that I really like. So you could just pop that on there and have another simple sort of bail. And then you can cut whatever, you know, your tail on your little pea, cut it whatever shape you want. You know, you could really go to town with this. And incorporate that into part of your pendant design. Oh yeah, and there was the little, you know, I just cut a little wavy one, didn't I? But another pea style, which are really simple. And if your clay is thick enough, you don't need to leave anything in. As long as it doesn't get squished when it's baking, it will be fine. Right, so there you go, guys. I hope you found that useful. There's, like I say, there's tons and tons of ideas out there. You know, different ways people do things in different ways, and these are just some of the things I like to do instead of using metal bales. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'm going to try and do a few more little tips and things. Again, things that I do and I find helpful, or you know, might think you might find helpful. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.